paper, modern Mondays at Guardian Games. Portland paper, modern Mondays at Guardian Games.
Okay, chat. We're back. And we have our final match. But before we bring you that, we need to visit my favorite segment.
Flavor of the week.
Text me.
For today's flavor of the week, we have a card that has not seen play almost anywhere. But what does it say, Travis?
How tragic that greed eclipses beauty. Seton, the Centaur Druid, said that.
What a very, very heartfelt, important message.
Yeah, we were talking about landlords today.
All right, back to your regularly scheduled program.
Okay, we got here for the finals, for all the marbles, the store credits. Waiting for it. Suspense building. Probably not that much suspense because we have a turn 1 Amulet, a Vigor, and we've got Emmet with a Shock and a Thoughtseize. So kind of how both decks want to start off. Grixis Death Shadow versus Amulet Titan, of course.
This is not the start that Sean wants to see.
We've got a Dryad, an Explorer, an Arboreal Grazer, a Summoner's Pack, and an Expedition map. That is a very pretty, oh my gosh, that's a bad hand.
Yeah, I am surprised that this was a keep on Sean's side. I mean, I think the deck plays a high number of lands and a good number of green sources, so your chances of drawing into something that will unlock this hand are relatively high.
Yeah, well, we got an out there. You do an Urza Saga, that's going to be able to throw down an Expedition map, so that'll get you your bounce land. Yeah, and perhaps because, you know, it's a 40-person event, these players have probably seen what their opponent's deck is, and maybe Sean just valued keeping 7 because he knows that he's playing a Shadow deck that is going to have a lot of discard spells.
And I think if that is the case, then I think it is a good keep if you know what your opponent's on. And this is the start that's going to make you happy if you are playing the Death Shadow deck.
I think we want another fetch land or Thoughtseize, something like that. We do have the Emmet does have the iteration, so next turn you could perhaps iterate, hopefully find a fetch land to be able to get Shadow down. You're pitching a Shadow.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to churn through the deck pretty quickly if you're on Emmet's side between this Bobble trigger and then potentially iteration next turn, that your chances of finding something pretty solid here are high. There are some good pieces of interaction in hand at the moment, and you are at Delirium already, so your Unholy Heats are turned on.
Okay, I could see the reason to pitch a Shadow, essentially to make sure your Unholy Heats can kill a Titan.
Beautiful new art growth chamber, foil growth chamber from Sean. One of the nice things that the latest Double Masters gave Amulet players kind of some more options for arts for the bounce lands, and I think the Simic growth chamber art really hit it out of the park. Boris Garrison, I'm pretty meh on, but chat, what are your favorite new arts for the bounce lands? I think Gruul Turf might be my absolute favorite of all of them. Maybe the Dimir one is my next favorite. Is it Dimir Aqueduct?
I'm going to be honest here, Ian. I don't think I've not looked at the new bounce lands. Haven't played any sealed. Yeah. Yeah, chat mentioning picking a bounce land back up. Yeah, I mean, you do, especially with the saga going and getting the next amulet, need a bounce land to maximize this next turn.
I think that's probably correct. I don't know what Sean's other 2 cards are in hand, but I know we did not have a Titan available previously.
It's a pact, I think. It's hanging out
I-
there.
You know, the other thing to think about is like Sean's not, it is a pact. Sean is not under a ton of pressure. So it's possible that Sean is looking to kind of play this game a little bit slower and bait some things out. But I guess, yeah, especially if you've got the Grazer, you might just be able to blow Emmett out of the water with the sheer amount of mana that you can produce. I think I am on board with chat.
I'm also kind of curious why we didn't counter the Dryad.
Well, you can kill it here,
Yeah.
and I'm very surprised that we didn't do one or the other on end step there. That's got me really confused. It feels like you want to be mana efficient.
Yeah, 100%. It should have been countered or killed.
Because there are a lot of cards in Emmett's hand, so it's not, you don't really have to like keep a high card economy in hand. Interesting. Second Shredder. Boy. Yeah, this is scary. You're heating to kill the Dryad, and you are leaving an Amulet opponent with an open window with 2 amulets in play.
Okay, found the fetch land. That was pretty essential there. If you did not have that fetch land, could be very much in trouble.
But I don't even, what does that fetch land enable?
Do we have another heat in hand?
No, we
no,
don't.
just 1 heat?
Yeah, we
Oh.
have 2 drowns and an expressive iteration. This is a very puzzling line by Emmett.
Yeah, I mean, the like sort of level 0 play, I think, was just to drown on cast the Dryad, but if you didn't do that, your opponent casts the Dryad, then passes the turn, I think you definitely want to drown the Dryad to kill it.
But the wild part is like we've kind of seen, the thing is, Sean has kind of met that mistake with, as chat's noting, maybe one of his own, in that we did not keep the bounce land in hand. So Sean is, we're all dressed up and nowhere to go.
Yeah. Also missed Connive there too for Emmett.
Yep.
I will say, if you're newer to integrating Shredder into your deck, you will miss the Connive off of your opponent's double cast the first couple times you play it.
Yeah.
But I would say Emmett, having gone 3-0 so far, I would assume hasn't missed a lot of those triggers, but... And are we revealing the bauble or casting it? Okay.
Okay. Gonna hit the Connive here. Yeah, I mean, at this point, with the drown up, Emmett's fairly insulated.
Well, you can't drown a Titan.
You can drown the Summoner's Pact, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, rips the Saga off the top, but we're still sitting at 5 total.
Oh, man.
So,
Yeah, not putting that bounce land back is just like...
oh, it's got some reverberations for sure. Yeah, Sean would have, I believe, just been able to kill Emmett the turn that the shields were down, were the bounce land in hand. But just having to pass the turn here. And really, I don't want to see Emmett do a whole lot else. I do not want to see Emmett get greedy here. I really would rather see him not even cast this iteration, to be honest, and just hold up 2 drowns.
Yeah, because it's a 2-turn clock, and I don't think you're going to get anything that's going to increase that clock by casting this iteration.
Agreed.
And you know that your opponent has 1 Summoner's Pact. Maybe they drew a second one, so yeah, or could draw 1. Who knows?
Right. Like, and it actually does look like there are 6 cards in the yard for Sean. So you can wait and counter the Titan, but you do bring into play if your opponent's sandbagging a cavern. You are risking that.
I'm gonna play land for turn.
Okay, there's the bounce land. Sean's going to be able to make a ton of mana. So there's 6 mana.
So 6 mana.
And there is, so yeah, here's the Titan. And the crazy part is we will not see Emmett get punished here because Sean is not going to be able to cast the other Titan. Jeez. But it's close. Like, it is very close to Emmett getting absolutely punished because
one mana off.
Yes.
Yeah.
If the other Titan resolves with 3 amulets in play, Sean would be able to chain into more Titans and just run Emmett over and close out the game. I don't know if Emmett realizes like how close this game really was.
I think if I was Sean, what I would have done there is led on Summoner's Pact.
I like that.
To see if you could bait out that counter spell.
I like that.
Because then if it resolves, it's great. You go get Dryad. But if it doesn't resolve, then you're pretty clear to just cast Titan.
Yeah, I think that's a great call.
Let's go into the next game. Yeah.
So
I have.
Sean could survive here for another turn if they wanted to. They could grab an Arboreal Grazer with the Summoner's Pact, block for a turn. I don't know if that presents a winning. I think I probably would have done it if I were Sean because you have so much possible mana with 3 amulets in play that even if you have to pay for the Summoner's Pact the next turn, if you rip another Titan off the top and your opponent doesn't have a counter up, I think you actually can just win that next turn. So I think this is a moment where I would have liked to have seen Sean keep playing, like play that final turn, even though I know it's kind of like, it's a little disparaging to have to Summoner's Pact for an Arboreal Grazer.
Okay, there was also an alternate line there too that I think I might have liked.
Yeah?
I'm not sure. Okay, I think the best line was doing the casting the Summoner's Pact, baiting the counter. But you also could have, if like let's say if you cast Summoner's Pact, didn't get the counter baited, then you get Cultivator Colossus. I think that would only put Sean with 7 cards in the graveyard, and then you could cast Cultivator Colossus.
So you're saying if Summoner's Pact does not get countered,
Yeah.
you grab the Cultivator?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Although you only have a single land in hand.
Yeah, it's not a for sure thing, but yeah. Anyways, but I mean,
It's a good thought.
End of the night, where it's a Monday. These players obviously have gone 3-0, but there was a couple things that it was easy to reflect upon while watching it in the booth, maybe in chat. But not as necessarily obvious when you're in the weeds out there.
Thanks, Apex Gaming. We've been kind of streaming on and off for, what, 2-3 years? We were streaming quite a bit before COVID started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had about a 2-year run before COVID, and then we stopped streaming during COVID, started back up winter of 2021, and then when just for a couple streams, but then the Delta or the Omicron variant hit hit us pretty hard there, and then we started again in like March, April. So
Mhm.
yeah.
We've been kind of on and off since then. We do not have a soundboard. Travis does the mouth trumpet very well, so that's his version of a soundboard. But all of our music is homegrown by a good friend of mine who's very musically gifted named Lex, who did our theme song along with my voice, which is hidden in there somewhere, and then also did our flavor of the week segment.
Okay, we got a couple, players are shuffling up. We're sideboarding, had a couple questions in chat. What deck do we think is better positioned, Hammer or Rhinos? Oh,
I'm kind of feeling honestly partial to the super aggressive like mono white hammerless that aren't kind of playing any of the fun stuff, like no fun reality chip or anything else like that. Just blacksmith skill, steel shaper's gift, like get 'em
Yeah.
dead.
I know Hammers puts up results, but it's not impressed me very much when I've seen it being played. So I'd say Rhinos. I would probably say Rhinos, but I kind of think maybe Living End is better positioned than Rhinos right now. And someone's asking if I was playing Narset Days Undoing last week at F&M. The answer is yes. I sometimes play that deck, and I like it a lot because there's nothing more fun than playing a one-sided Wheel of Fortune, making your opponent discard all the cards in their draw step. I love that.
Oof, this is a gross opening hand from Sean. We have Bajuka Bog as the only land, and then Vesuva. And you can get away with Vesuva being your only land if your opponent is playing something with green and you feel like there's a chance that you can copy something with green. But I think that the correct choice is what Sean is doing here and tossing that back. That sounds like Travis.
Yeah. I had a Narset out and I cast Days Undoing against my Hammer opponent, and they commented that, oh, that seems like a risky thing to do, and I mentioned that I felt pretty good about it. It's an interaction if you're newer to Modern that you might not be familiar with, but
And
usually
Travis loves familiarizing people with it. Oh no, you get to draw one. How does that sound?
but you know,
From Bajuka Bog Vesuva into all lands.
oh well.
I mean, you're insulated from Thoughtseize effects, and there is a Talaria West in this hand. So I am on board with Sean keeping this, as crazy as that is. There is a cavern. You're on the play. Oh, Quentin, you scrubbed out. Oh no. The stream's going very well. Yeah, we're having a great time. All lands into draws another land. So this is interesting. Bouncing TOS with a land that taps for white and green. I usually like to leave T-West on the battlefield for a little bit if I can, because you sometimes will use the blue that it's going to grant you to transmute it. So I think if you're going to bounce it to hand, I would have liked to have seen the Simic Growth Chamber, which I believe is in hand for Sean, be the one that's used to bounce it.
It looks like Emmett kept a fairly reactive hand here, but we do have the Ledger Shredder. And I think Alpine Moon named Urza's Saga.
I mean, that would be, I think, the best name for it. But I did not catch on the mics what it was naming.
Sean has seemed to, gotten a little bit of the bad side of variance here. But you know what? Amulet's a deck, I think, that just, it can run so hot that you're going to hit the other end of that sometimes.
Yeah, just when you think you're like having a great F&M, you like run up against Amulet, and then they turn to you, and then it's a less great F&M. Second Alpine Moon.
I might pitch that.
Yeah, I think so too. Growing the Shredder is worthwhile. I don't really think you're terribly concerned about your opponent getting rid of your first Alpine Moon, to be honest. Okay, there's the payoff.
is Amulet going to do this like the fair way, where you just make your land drops and then play Titan like a turn early? No,
Yeah, so I
2
mean,
turns early now.
yeah, but you have to choose. So like, you need to be thinking about what Emmett's leaving up. I guess you know that the deck is not playing Counterspell usually. Wow, the timing. That timing, though. So with the deck not playing Counterspell, you are more clear to just play the Titan out with the castle because Drown is going to be the main thing that you're worried about. I mean, Dress Down is also great against Amulet. So this is where we kind of see what I was talking about earlier, where the Simic Growth Chamber has been in hand. So Sean is now set up with a good number of lands in play, but we're so far away from transmuting Talaria West because of lack of blue mana.
Yeah, you see what you mentioned. Turn 2 is kind of coming to fruition here, where bounce the T West early. Now don't have because now is when you have the opportunity to transmute it now.
Yeah, you'd want the
So,
Growth
yeah.
Chamber in play and the T-West in play, and then if you really wanted to get it back in hand, you've got the Selesnya land to bounce it back, and then you would have the blue to transmute. So we have called for a judge with the Alpine Moons. Travis has some judge credentials, so he gets really excited when that happens and just immediately runs out there.
Can it still transmute or no?
Wondering if Alpine Moon stops Talaria West's ability to transmute. I believe the answer is that it does not stop Talaria West's ability to transmute, because I think Alpine Moon affects the land in play. But chat, feel free if we have any judges or just opinionated people to offer your opinion. Okay, it doesn't stop transmuting. So, okay, here's the other thing about Alpine Moons, right? Emmett has just named, what? Did he name Castle Garenbrig, I believe? I think it was Castle Garenbrig. So you're actually giving Sean blue, which is dangerous.
Thank you. I just couldn't remember if it got around mana abilities or not. Especially with how many moon effects we have.
And then I will attack first.
And you can actually use Castle Garenbrig to cast the Titan.
Even with the Alpine Moon?
It's a mana ability. So you basically just, if you name...
You just turned it into a rainbow land and didn't stop it from doing its thing. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, mistakes are made sometimes, and we will see if they come back to haunt us here. I would not bounce the Castle Garenbrig that taps for anything. I would bounce the forest.
Wow, because we could have transmuted for a Summoner's Pack there as well. I'm very confused. All right, we got a bobble. We got a Darcy trigger. And yeah, so Alpine Moon, when it comes into play, you name a land, and the land you choose loses all land types and abilities, and they add 1 mana of any color. Okay,
so
yeah, that works. Works for
Yeah.
castle. Yeah.
but it will still tap for the blue that's needed to transmute. So
Make or break mode.
I was a little bit wrong. I was wrong there. That's it never happens. So.
oh boy.
No, I kept kind of a risky hand.
So it looks like Emmett's gonna take it down here.
Yeah.
Pretty quick final round for us. I think Sean, if you go back and watch this, definitely worth kind of rethinking some of those lines. I think you might have been able to eke out some additional advantages. But in any case, a fun match to watch. Congrats to both of these players for making it to 3-0 and for Emmett to making it to 4-0.
Yeah, Amulet's a really I feel like Amulet's a deck that really rewards playing it for a long time because there's so many intricate lines, and you can weasel your way out of a lot of situations that you shouldn't be able to. But if you're newer to the deck, it's still super powerful, but there's a high learning curve for that deck, as you would know, as someone who has played a fair amount of Amulet.
Yeah, I feel it's much easier to armchair Amulet than it is to actual Amulet. I am a much better armchair quarterback when watching Amulet than actually playing it.
The Amulet Fantasy League that we've got going.
Yeah, absolutely. We do not have a backup match. We try to get our booties out of here because Guardian closes down. They're basically already closed, but we do the final match and then we get out of here. So once